With the new 2022 Bolt EUV coming, a lot of people may not be thinking about the current 2021 Bolt EV sitting on dealer lots. We're going to take a look at this vehicle and ask if you should check this out or if you should wait for the 2022 new EUV. With that said, these vehicles are getting massive markdowns. There are ones in the Maryland area that go over $40,000 that are being marked down to nearly 30 or even the high 20s. So as we keep that in mind, we're going to take a look around this 2021 Bolt EV premiere. Let's get into it. Before we get into it, a huge thanks to Kuhn Chevy of Clarksville for letting us take a look at this Bolt EV. Be sure to check out their website in the description below. Also, a big thanks to Moose. He's been a great help. Be sure to contact him if you're looking for a new Chevy, and check him out on TikTok at The Car Cowboy. All right, let's get into it. And let's start with the technology. Taking a look at your large infotainment screen right here. It's pretty responsive, definitely different from what we see in other GM products, which I definitely appreciate that they're giving this special electric vehicle a bit of a different infotainment system. So let's take a look at it. This is your home screen right here, which is customizable. If you hit this button right here, you can see there's a series of different layouts that you can choose. You can even make a custom layout with these little cards. It's really easy to use system. I think anyone's going to be able to understand that, even those who aren't the most technologically advanced. Of course, you have a really good camera system on this vehicle. GM always has great camera systems. You can see we have a 360 top down, and we have our front camera right now because the vehicle's in park, and we have guidance on that. If you just want to see what's going on near the wheels, you can absolutely do that so that you don't curb your wheels right there. And then we can go back to our normal, you can look at the rear wheels right there. And of course, we have a front and back view with guidance. So this system is very usable. I actually briefly want to show you the energy features right here. So if you go here, you can see what is using your charge, and you can get a rating from the car. So you can see this car has not been driven too efficiently so far, but that's because it's all been parking lot driving, I'm assuming, and it's mostly just been used, the climate control is really the only thing that's been used in this vehicle. So overall, this screen's bright, it's responsive, you can see the flow of energy through the vehicle as you're driving. High definition, good contrast, I have no complaints about it. Continuing to talk about technology, you can see right here we have a traditional mirror, you can see me right there, but this vehicle has a camera mirror, so if you have anything blocking your hatch, you can turn on this feature and now you can see a view through a camera looking out the back. Really great feature there that GM's really implementing through their whole lineup. And now let's take a look at your center display right here. Huge, crisp, clear display. It's a really good resolution for this car. I wish it was a little better embedded to the sides. Maybe just make it all screen in here. It just looks a little like it was just crammed in there. Fiat Chrysler does a really good job of like molding their screen into the dash right there. But that's a really small complaint. It's controlled using these buttons right here. Those of you who have seen our other GM videos know I love the buttons in GM vehicles on the steering wheel. Something about them just feels so amazing. They're so tactile and clicky. Going through the menu right here, there's nothing you wouldn't expect. Typical trip information right here. You can go out and this is your compass, you have your phone, audio. Layout is a pretty interesting area. You can see as I swap through here, you can get different views of what's going on in the vehicle. Most of them are all really just focused on the regeneration and what's going on with the battery of the vehicle. But this is the screen most people will be on, and it gives you your speed nice and clearly, and there's not much more you can ask for here. Not even Tesla gives you a speed in front, so to have that is really nice. Looking at the exterior of the vehicle, let's start with the front. You have a pretty traditional look right here. You can see that they kept the fake grille just to kind of give this vehicle a bit more of a safe look rather than going with something more outlandish. LED daytime running lights on here. The one thing I want to complain about here is the lack of a frunk. If I open the hood, you will see it's just electrical components in there. Having the frunk is a big benefit of an electric vehicle, so it would be nice to see here. Other than that, I think this actually might be my favorite angle of the vehicle, not as much this side. Let's take a look there. looking at the side of the vehicle, you have this nightfall gray metallic color. Works really nice with these bright blue EV badges, which add a little bit of pop to the side, also making the side look really good. These 17-inch wheels right here. Chevy does a really great job with rims, and of course they have done so here. Charge port is at the front on the driver's side. That's going to make it nice and accessible. Really like how when electric manufacturers put it at the front. I do think maybe they could improve by taking a page out of Nissan's book and putting the charger in the middle at the front. That way it's accessible from either side of the vehicle, but that's just a small little thing. Now, you do have your mirrors right here. They are heated, they have turn signal integration, they are manual folding. Seeing power folding would be nice. I want to call your attention to this window right here. That's going to give great visibility when we get inside and just really adds to the open, airy feel of the cabin. Chrome accents along the vehicle. Again, just giving a little bit of a pop to this really nice dark gray color. Gives the vehicle a really premium look. I'm not a huge fan of this portion right here of the vehicle. Otherwise, I think it's an okay looking vehicle. But it's all subjective, right? You may really like it, and that's great. And then you have roof rails right here. I want to call out the side length. It's actually a pretty short vehicle. It's about the size of the Hyundai Kona, shorter than a lot of other electric competitors, which is great, of course, if you're in a city where I think a lot of these cars are going to be. It's going to make parking really easy. Let's get around to the back. At the rear of the vehicle, I think this is actually a really good angle of the vehicle. Just like the front, you have these really cool Thunderbolt-like taillights. They went out on a limb when designing these taillights, and I think it paid off. They look great. The rest of the back, nothing too special about it. Of course, no exhaust down here. This is an electric vehicle. Opening up the hatch, it is a manual open. And you will find that you have about 17 cubic feet of cargo space back here. Note that's kind of vertically limited because the hatch actually slants rather significantly. So that just means that anything tall here would get cut off. However, if you put down the second row, you're gonna find about 57 cubic feet of cargo space. Then you can really take advantage of that hatchback profile. Let's talk trim. Starting off is the LT at $37,495. That's going to get you LED daytime running lights, 17-inch wheels, and a keyless entry system with push button start. Just something neat is this Oasis blue color. How about that? This really is eye-popping. It kind of reminds me of that Miami blue that Porsche has. Looks really good on this vehicle. Then there's the Premier like we have today. That's going to come in at just over $42,000. That's going to get you heated front and rear seats. You're also getting blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert and some really cool ambient lighting. If you're liking the video so far, consider subscribing for more weekly reviews, and it helps us out a lot. All right, let's get back to the video. Let's talk about the motor of the vehicle. This vehicle has about 200 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque. Now, you can get about 259 miles of range. That's actually 9 miles more than General Motors is quoting for the new Bolt EUV coming in 2022. So that is something to keep in mind, but the Bolt EUV is going to be a bit of a bigger vehicle. With the $750 DC fast charging option on this vehicle, you'll be able to charge from 0 to 80% in about an hour. Now, something interesting to note when it comes to driving is this vehicle does have a pretty good suite of safety features that we'll talk about in just a minute, but the Bolt EUV is going to come with Super Cruise, which will allow the car basically drive itself on certain roads that have already been scanned and approved by General Motors. The thing is, that's going to require a subscription after the first 3 years. Just something interesting to know. Let's talk about safety. This vehicle does have a 5-star safety rating, and it has the $495 Driver Confidence 2 package. What that's going to give you most importantly is auto emergency braking with pedestrian detection. You're getting lane departure alert, and there are other features like intelligent headlights. The one problem is there's no adaptive cruise control. That's something you're going to have to wait for the 2022 Bolt to see. Now, also something interesting to mention is this vehicle does have blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert. That's part of the Premier trim. Looking around the Bolt EV and getting in here, I have the key. It is a keyless entry system. Just hit this button and in you go. Getting in, it's nice and easy. It's a low step. Of course, it's a very low vehicle. Hitting, you can see these nice animations. I'll hit the button to start the car up. Now you'll hear it talk about OnStar. That's just because this is on a dealer lot. You can ignore that. All your screens boot up instantly, very quickly, and I want to call attention to the LED lighting, the ambient lighting that will come on under this trim right here.
Connected by OnStar's high-speed 4G connection. Press the blue OnStar button to learn more.
So now you can see that everything is really accessible. Everything is an arm's length away. The steering wheel feels really good. It's really thick, nice leather. This feels nicer than what they use on the Chevy trucks. I'd really like to see this steering wheel on any of the Chevy trucks. Nice and thick. And of course, it has those really nice buttons I was talking about earlier. Visibility is fantastic in this vehicle, and it feels so airy. As I mentioned, you have those windows up front. It just lets so much light in here. A sunroof would be great. There's no sunroof here, but this vehicle, for being a smaller vehicle, just feels huge. It also helps that they took out a lot of this center portion, and it just makes the vehicle feel absolutely massive. In terms of materials, you have these really cool like white triangles going around the vehicle. You have some great metal trim. You have some chrome there around your air vents. And then a lot of this is kind of an injection molded plastic. And you have air vents up here. It makes for a really nice look. Definitely a clean, modern aesthetic they've achieved here. Let's take a closer look. Let me tell you about the seats. The Premier gets this really nice fake leather material. You have this great orange stitching on it, some nice contrast. They are heated in the front and the rear. It would be nice to have power adjustments. It is manual adjustment, so that is just something to know. At the $40,000 price point on a vehicle like this, I'd really like to see that. Other than that, there's not too much to write home about on the seats. Nice and comfortable, they'll do the job. Let me take you through your center stack right here. You have physical climate controls. I know a lot of people will really appreciate that. Moving down from there, you just have this massive space. You could put a lunchbox in here. Looks like you could put a phone or a wallet or a purse in there. And then you have a traditional charger right there. Looking down from there, again, just this massive void. It makes the car feel huge. When you don't need a transmission tunnel, you know, you can do whatever you want with this space. Two cup holders. I wish they had the little nubs, but they do have a neat little texture at the bottom of them. So that's something interesting to note. Your shifter right here, I'll turn the car on so I can demonstrate how it works. You can see that you push this button on the side, pull back for drive, push forward and left for reverse, push the button to put the vehicle back in park, and you have an electronic handbrake right there. Continuing to look right here, you can see we have two USB ports along with an aux. It would be nice to see USB-C in a tech-minded vehicle. You do have a little holder for your phone. You can see I can slip my phone right in there. And now you have this center storage lid. Push it up, and you will see that you actually have a pretty shallow area, but if you pull this up, it reveals a very deep storage hole. I mean, this is on the level of some pickup trucks when it comes to depth. It's just very skinny. You could definitely put a purse in there or something, or you know, whatever you need. So definitely a usable, functional center area right here. Everything's easy to reach. Everything fits well around your hand. I actually used to not be a fan of this kind of shifter, but it's grown on me. Now let's talk rear. It is very spacious back here. You can see I have plenty of legroom. You can definitely fit two adults back here. Three might be a bit of a squeeze just because of the width of the vehicle. However, what I will say is it has a completely flat floor because you don't need that transmission tunnel or anything mechanical there. So it's actually a bit more feasible to fit three people in here than maybe an even slightly larger internal combustion vehicle, similar to this one. This vehicle does have the $595 infotainment package. That's going to give you two USB ports back here. You're also going to be getting a 7-speaker Bose audio system in this vehicle. On top of that, you have the same nice leather seats back here, which are heated as part of the Premier trim. Overall, it's a nice place. It would be nice to have some sort of like map pocket on the driver's side, but other than that, no complaints back here. So should you wait for the 22 EUV? I would say if you need something a little bigger, then yes, that's going to carry over all the great features of this vehicle, but be slightly larger. But if you're liking this and you don't need something that big, I would certainly suggest taking advantage of the great markdowns dealers have on these Bolts. Look, this is a really great car. You're getting 259 miles of range, which is a very respectable number. On top of that, you're getting a pretty nice, aesthetically pleasing interior with a good amount of features like that 10.2-inch display. You're just missing out on features like maybe adaptive cruise is probably the biggest one. So if you're looking for a new electric vehicle or a Bolt, be sure to check out Koons Chevy Buick GMC of Clarksville. Their website will be in the description below. A huge thanks to them and Moose for letting us take a look at this, and a big thanks to you all for watching. If you guys like this video, consider subscribing for more weekly car reviews. We'll see you in next week's video, everyone. Take care.